for entrepreneurship, and I'm sure most of you have already seen it. Young students are opening up their own ventures. So talent have to be guided somewhere. If you don't do it, they'll do it. And now I have the privilege of inviting perhaps the most senior person that we have in this room when it comes to HR. It has to do nothing with his age. It has to do with his contribution that he has made to the society and the HR community as a whole. I have the privilege of introducing Dr. Mirza Abrar Beg, who's the SEVP and Group Chief, Human Resources Management and Administration Group, National Bank of Pakistan, and he'll be presenting a case study on talent management at National Bank of Pakistan. Please put your hands together for Dr. Saab.
At the outset, let me thank the organizers of this one-day conference. And I was going through the program, mashallah. It's very rich in contents. And the two presentations I heard, I was totally myself engrossed, as though I was learning as a student. The subject is very elaborate, and I really like the slide that the chief executives calls the HR director and wants the culture to be changed by the afternoon. This talent management, before I speak onto my slides, I must tell you that I think most of the HR professionals are here, and even if you are not HR professional, today, in this very competitive environment and the economic slowdown, HR and the senior management, if they really want to take up the leadership position, it is through talent management. Now, talent management, when I say, and I would recommend a book on this, Talent for War, and I think I have War for Talent. This is one of the finest books in management, and this was recommended to me when I was undergoing a global leadership program at Harvard. And it's one of the finest books on management, specifically on talent management. And I borrowed this from there. It says, talent is a combination of sharp strategic mind, leadership ability, emotional maturity, communication skills, the ability to attract and inspire other talented people, and the ability to deliver results. Ultimately, it is the result and which it is expected will come mostly from the talented people. And one of the quotes from this book I will mention, that the author says that a talented engineer is equivalent to 200 average engineers. And I thought a lot about it. It says a talented engineer is equivalent to 200 average engineers. I had deeper thoughts into this, and I really looked around. I have, mashallah, experience of working with charters of the finest organizations in India, and they have been practicing talent management since 1943. And I have worked in many organizations in Pakistan also. And when I looked around in this subcontinent, I really feel that in our own environment, and I have seen it happening, a real talented individual is average, is better than almost, in my perception, is 500 average people. There is no match of a talent with average people. And talent is nothing which cannot be acquired, which cannot be demonstrated, which cannot be practiced. It can be acquired and it can be put into practice. It's a critical driver of corporate performance, and a company's ability to attract, develop, and retain talent is a major competitive advantage far into the future. And those organizations who have been practicing talent management, I have seen them that even in this most difficult, there is a book I think most of you have read, Good to Great by Jim Collins. And then there was subsequent article after this economic meltdown. And I felt that article in Fortune about 6 months ago is worth $50 million. And it says that even in this economic meltdown throughout the world, the organizations who have a mindset, the biggest problem as a HR practicing manager I have that in the organizations, we do not have the mindset for talent. We really do not, we may say talent management. We may talk about talent management. But when it comes to practice, we really do not have. It's at 10%, one of my earlier speakers says, that 10% of the people really are, when you talk about practicing, bringing high-performing culture, I felt that 10% is also a little on the higher side. That even not 10%. So when talking about the talent management, I have a feeling, and I believe in it, that we do not have in the organizations, from the senior management to the lower management, at various levels of organizations, where there is a lower management, where there is a middle management, or where there is a higher management, that the percentage of people who have the mindset for talent in the organizations may not even go more than 10%. When talk about talent, if we have talented people in the organizations, we get scared, we feel insecurity at all levels. In banks, at a branch manager level, at regional level, at senior, at my level, that we really do not want. We take pleasure, because we have a culture, we take pleasure in highlighting the weaknesses of our subordinates and feel shy to talk about the goodness and outstanding results of our subordinates. We really do not have the mindset for talent management. And we may talk about talent management, but unless and until we have the mindset for the talent management at all levels. A trainee comes bright, the organization has hired the best engineer in the organization. He has, for example, we had out of 6,000, if we have 60 persons based on their academic background and results in this thing, so he's a very highly talented guy. So he said, Dr. Sahab, kahan chooson ko aap le aaye? Itni badi organization mein kya kar payenge? So it's a critical driver of corporate performance, and a company's ability to attract, develop, and retain talent is a major competitive advantage far into the future, and we have to develop a right kind of mindset for this. And I will share one study with you. Fortune magazine organized a conference of the chief executive officers, which I shared in my Karachi conference also, at Shanghai. Few Fortune 500 companies, CEOs, Fortune, every year they come out a list with 500 most, the Fortune, the top companies in the world, 50 most admired companies in the world. So they called a conference at Shanghai last year of these CEOs of the Fortune 500 companies. And the ultimate, and it was published in Fortune magazine, and it said that the companies who will really survive and retain the competitive edge, and that is the job of the CEOs, to identify, and that is the only job they have, to identify, attract, retain, develop, evaluate, motivate, reward the talent in the organization. There are lots said about it. And the same conference was repeated at Bombay, and almost similar findings, conclusion was arrived at this conference, that if the organizations have to have the competitive advantage in this difficult economic scenario, they have to identify the right kind of people and place them on the right job and